Do you live ECU?
R.
Do you bleed purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors?
Hoist the colors!
It's time for the most in-depth look into the world of ECU athletics. Welcome to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Here's Stephen Igo.
All right, welcome in, Hoist the Colors. Man, we're cooking. New intro, no more earhole talk. This is what it's all about on a Friday. May 16th edition of the show. We also got a little pirate tune going. Nice intro.
This.
Bobby Harward is with us. He's brought to you today by Basil's, our usual Friday guest. Philip Pilkington behind the glass, intern Chris hanging out. Philip, was this your doing, or is this a surprise to you as well?
I was informed of it, so Dom and I got a text about it last night.
Okay.
So I was not surprised, but it was not my doing.
Well, kudos to whoever got it done. I'm going to
Dylan.
guess Dylan. Yep. Shout out Dylan for, it was a combination of the old intro and the new girl's voice. So here we are. And it's an exciting Friday. We've got ECU baseball off a victory to get into. I want to also talk about, we kind of are taking a weekly look, I would say, every so often at ECU Pirates and the pros with Major League Baseball. We'll catch up on some of that. Nuggets forced Game 7. We'll touch on that. Hurricanes advance to the next round. We'll also hit on that as well. Bobby Harward in studio. Again, brought to you by Basil's today. Bobby, how's it going on this Friday?
It's going great. No work today. I took today off and went on a nice run this morning like I told you. And then this afternoon, the family and I, and the big reason we're taking off is we're going to Raleigh to visit with my family. It will be the first time, I think my sister and I calculated, since December, so Christmas of 2023, that all the grandkids will be together. So
Wow. Chaos ahead.
It's been a while, long time coming. So excited to get everyone together and hang out this afternoon.
Looking forward to that, and looking forward to the next hour. As always, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, X. If you got a question or anything on anything sports related, ECU related, drop it in the chat. I see Cameron is already with a facetious comment we'll get to in a minute, which is typical of Cameron. But appreciate you tuning in. He says, yay, we won the first game, speaking of ECU baseball, but I don't want to see Pruitt or Young pitch again until the tournament. And I agree with you there. We'll start with ECU. And, look, we had a whole full discussion on, I guess, Thursday's program about what this series really meant and if it meant much at all. But I think ECU has already – I'm just going to be honest. I think ECU has already done what it needed to do in this series. Yes, there's two games left to play. You got to play. I just didn't want to see ECU get on there and just, not show up at all. They looked, honestly, like a complete team last night. Good offense for the most part. Good defense. Probably the play of the year. Started by Alex Boucher with a 6-4-3 double play. He flipped it to Dixon Williams, who barehanded it and threw to first to get out of a big bases-loaded jam. The next inning, Dixon hit a 3-run shot to give ECU the lead for good. They didn't pitch Ethan Norby. They started Lance Williams. He goes 4 innings. Brad Pruitt goes 3 innings. Both those guys threw 56 pitches. They'll be available for Tuesday. And Ethan Young, 25 pitches on a Thursday to get the save. So 5-1 win at South Florida. And to me, I just didn't want to see him get swept, Bobby. So I think this is a job well done.
Yeah, you win the baseball game first and foremost, and you don't throw Ethan Norby secondly. So I think that's a double win there, and it allows you to save Norby into the conference tournament, and that's something we discussed. I agree with Cameron's comment. Don't want to see, especially Ethan Young, I don't want to see for the rest of the weekend. Save him up because he potentially could have to throw 2-3 times this next week. So save his arm. Would want to see another competitive matchup. My question to you is, with the results from yesterday, I've been so busy this morning, I hadn't been able to look up. Was there any shifting in the conference standings or anything like that?
Very little. The one thing that did change is ECU did tie Tulane for 5th place, although Tulane still has the tiebreaker. Tulane lost against Charlotte, so Charlotte further solidified 2nd place, which they now have a comfortable lead on with 2 games left. FAU won at UAB, which basically, I want to say, eliminates UAB from conference tournament contention. And then South Florida obviously fell back to 14-11 with the loss to ECU. So ECU could still technically pass South Florida and they could pass Tulane, but they'd have to sweep South Florida to pass USF, and I think Tulane would have to either lose the next two and ECU win one, or ECU sweeps and Tulane loses one. So there's still a chance ECU, as I look at it now, could get as high as fourth. It looks like FAU, I think, will have the tiebreaker as long as they win one game. So I guess technically still third. But
If we end up fourth or fifth, baby, we're talking some 9 a.m. hot dogs for Stephen Igo.
oh God,
9 a.m. dogs. Ooh, is that the final? That's it's sups for the food sponsor.
So I've talked to Hank Hinton. He's going to still work on it. He said he's going to try to get Sups or Basil's, obviously both great sponsors of the show, or he will come up with something else. So still a work in progress, probably depending upon the time.
First pitch time.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Which, by the way, you're invited as well. Are you planning to
Yes,
to come?
I've already brought it up to my wife. So depending on the time
Yeah.
and whatnot,
It's a big range we're still waiting on.
Yeah, a big wide range. I can confidently say if we are the late night game and lock in the 6th seed, which we are now, I will 100% be there. If we are some of the other ones, I'll just have to look and alter my work schedule a little bit and communicate with the wife, because she would then be responsible for all 3 children. So
That is more than fair. That is more than fair. I understand 2 is hard enough on our end, so I'm sure 3 is quite difficult. Philip, your take last night, you were able to produce. First off, Patrick Johnson on the call. How did PJ do? Hopefully he didn't screw up too bad in the absence of Dylan Johnson, just giving him a hard time. But how did he do, and how the game looked from your perspective?
It went well. We talked this morning, just kind of some, pros and cons of the night, of course, just with working together and everything, because we have not worked together in that setting other than basketball, other than women's basketball. So PJ did great. He and Coach O, as always, so that was good. Overall perspective, look, CG said it after the game. Coach O said it after the game. Might have been one of the more complete games, if not the most complete game the Pirates have played all year. We saw, I thought, the 3 pitchers that got into that game pitched to their ceiling. And these are the guys that we know they can be and guys that they're going to have to be. Hitting, look, most of the runs came off one swing, but double-digit hits and lack of strikeouts. And now, yes, South Florida is worse in the conference at striking guys out, but I still just thought it was a lot of good plate discipline. There were a few loud outs, just a lot of good contacts. So I thought it was a mature game from a team that needs to play mature games at this time of year, because at the end of the day, look, we're talented. We know that. I still think on paper it's the most talented team in the conference. They haven't played like it because, again, not playing maybe to their utmost ability and their utmost maturity. But when you see a game like that last night, you know that winning a conference championship is a possibility. Is it a probability? Maybe not, but I still think it is very much a possibility. They showed that last night. Like you said, UAB was eliminated when they got beat, and that automatically has put Rice in the conference tournament. Rice obviously beat UTSA, but they didn't even need to do that once UAB lost. So it's going to come down to Memphis and Wichita for that last spot. So we'll be interested to see where everybody ends up.
I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
If the Pirates sweep this weekend, do we have to lock PJ in to be the play-by-play for the conference
That's a good
tournament?
question. I think all due respect to Dylan Johnson, who's done a fine job. If PJ goes 3-0, I think we've got to.
You've got to.
We've got to keep it rolling.
Not trying to sign PJ up for a week of work, but I think you got to keep the ball rolling there.
That's a week of PJ not being in North. Well, he stays at the beach anyways. But I don't have to deal with PJ. But yeah,
What's the difference between the beach and Clearwater?
he's
Clearwater
at the beach
so,
either way.
Yeah. So we'll see what we can do, how these next 2 games go. All right, a few more things. The post-game show I thought was interesting. So Cliff Godwin said Evan Krasinski, former ECU pitcher, came and talked to the team and got emotional prior to the game. Krasinski obviously was an ace on the team that went to Texas Tech Super Regional. He pitched that. They won Game 1. Was also on the team that underachieved the following year and nearly made a run, lost in the conference title game. So, Cliff got a little emotional post-game talking about it. I thought that was an interesting nugget that if you didn't listen to the post-game show, you wouldn't obviously hear that. But Cliff felt like the team really bought into what he was saying. So, look, you've been a part of a team, Bobby, as a member of the coaching staff, and I don't know, when the players are touched like by somebody like that, I think it could make a difference. And last night was seemingly a good response to that.
Yeah, I think first off, from a coaching perspective, at this point in the year and all this team has gone through, you're trying to just pick and pull anything you can to try to motivate these guys, because obviously nothing has clicked up to this point. And it's honestly, it can make you feel dumbfounded at times and trying to figure out ways to motivate these guys. So glad to hear and see something click. The big thing for me now is how do they respond a day or two after the fact, and kind of I relate it to the backup quarterback situations with NFL teams. Like if a team's struggling and they put in the backup, normally they have a great showing that first outing and then they digress to who they are. And is this team going to continue to play motivated through the rest of the weekend and into next week, or are they going to digress a little bit? And that's a question we'll find out tonight.
So I turned it off after Cliff talked. Philip, did you hear Dixon Williams post-game? Somebody brought up on Hoist the Colors that he said there was different energy in the dugout in reference. And I don't want to put words in his mouth, but basically this poster said that Dixon kind of said with a few players leaving this week, there was a different energy. Did you hear any of that by chance?
Yeah, I don't know if he said with guys leaving.
Yeah.
Particularly. I think, we kind of talked about it on PJ's show with Molly, that when you do go on the road, school's over, this is a lengthy road trip, sometimes it's easier to dial in and think about baseball. Even if a guy's taking summer classes don't even start this week. Some dudes were going through graduation, even if they weren't physically going to walk because they had baseball. They had graduation last week. They had exams the week before that, and all the way to the beginning of the season, you were in class. So, yeah, maybe a guy leaving did affect it to an extent, right? But I think maybe it's not a specific guy, but just when you do lose some players, you do get done with school, and this is kind of what he was saying was just, look, right now, this is the vibe. The vibe has not been what it is earlier in the year, and now it's this. I don't think he was pointing at any one thing. It was just a fact. It was just a statement. He wasn't trying to give his opinion. It was just the truth, and they played last night with more energy and played more focus. Like I said, they played a much more mature game, in my opinion.
ECU wins at 5-1. Second game of the series, 6:30 tonight, and then 2:00 for the series finale on Saturday. Cameron says it took to the final away series of the season for there to be a competent ESPN Plus stream for an ECU away game. Props to USF. Although I do have to add, I don't think either of you guys caught much of the game on Plus, but I watched it. Jim Lauk, who is the longtime USF play-by-play announcer, great guy, good announcer, but if you're trying to take a nap, he is the perfect guy to listen to. He will put you right to sleep. I'll just say that. So if you're trying to catch some Z's tonight, Bobby, turn on the game at 6:30.
Turn on the baseball game.
Yeah, you'll fall right asleep. Cameron also brings up Zach Root, former Pirate, got shelled by Tennessee last night. 3 2/3, 7 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks. Tennessee wins every SEC matchup is a ranked. It's like a different level of baseball.
It is. And I love watching SEC baseball. Normally I put it on the second TV if the Pirates are playing or if I'm watching an MLB game and the Pirates aren't playing. But I think Zach Root was kind of due for that after his recent outing against Texas, throwing pretty lights out. I actually saw him, Bleacher Report, not always the most reliable of sports resources, but they actually had Zach Root mocked to your Seattle Mariners in pick 34, 35, whatever, right after that first round, in between the first and second round.
I've seen him come mocked anywhere from like 18 to like right there, like mid-30s. So he's trending towards being a day one pick for sure. And look, good for Zach Root. There was a whole situation here that happened with needles and all that, and it's a complicated process. I'll say I just don't blame him 100% for transferring.
But let's make it clear, it was dry needling. When you say issue with needles, it sounds like something else.
Yeah,
he was not shooting up steroids. There were no roid issues.
That is very fair.
Do you think, though, I kind of had gotten the vibe, and I'm very far removed, that regardless of that situation, he's probably gone anyways. Do you feel that too, or do you think that?
I think he may have been gone anyways. I mean, he was not originally an ECU signee. Florida dropped him, and then he needed a place to go. He came to ECU. So I think he always wanted to pitch in the SEC. He's a Florida guy. So the dry needle therapy issue may not have had a direct impact on his ultimate decision. I do think it played a role. Mm-hmm. It also played a role in costing ECU a chance to go to Omaha when you dry needle your 3 best pitchers. But that's we could do a whole show on that. Either way, Kenny, as Dixon hits a beautiful homer, the sound and look when it came off the bat, you knew it was gone. Yeah, that ball, it just sounded gone. Johnny Robertson says, I like Denard Span, but their play-by-play guy had no energy whatsoever. I didn't even know Denard Span was a color guy. That's awesome. Former Mariner.
That's cool.
UTSA's Zach Royce, Johnny Robertson adds, was blown up yesterday versus Rice. He says Gillespie from Charlotte pitched a near-perfect 4 innings for the 49ers. So there's a few notes on the American. Again, Pirates head into tonight. If you win tonight, then maybe you approach Saturday's game a little bit different as far as if you sweep the series, you're going to move up the conference standings. But again, do you really want to be on that 4-5 line? I don't know. So we'll see after tonight's game. I tell you what, let's go ahead and get a break in. We'll come back. We will shift gears. We'll take a look at how former Pirates are performing in the pros. Again, Basil's Restaurant and Pizzeria supporting today's show, bringing you Bobby Harwood's appearance, 1675 East Fire Tower Road, Greenville, North Carolina. Hank Hinton and I had lunch there last week along with Henry Hinton. Great spot for lunch, dinner, brunch, whatever you need. They got it for you at Basil's over by the AMC movie theater. We'll be right back after these messages.
The team of Flatlands Jessup is working overtime to help ensure that Eastern North Carolinians like you get the health insurance help you need this open enrollment period. New legislation passed meaning more people than ever qualify for affordable coverage. Let us help you today.
Are you ready to tackle those yard and garden projects? Come by East Carolina Tractor and Fleet, your local Coyote dealer, and check out their great selection of residential and commercial Coyote tractors. From zero-turn mowers to compact tractors to skid steer loaders, they've got you covered. Some with 0% financing for qualified buyers. Stop by your hometown Coyote dealer, East Carolina Tractor and Fleet, across from the Pitt County Fairgrounds, or online at ectfleet.com. East Carolina Tractor and Fleet. We dig dirt.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
At Parker's Barbecue, our family has been serving your family for 3 generations.
For that, we say thank you.
Blessing families every Thursday. Kids eat free all day. That's the Parker's way.
Legendary food served from our 3 locations. Always quick, always delicious. That's the Parker's way.
At Parker's, our mission is to impact our customers through Christ-like service in a way that feeds them both physically and spiritually. That is the Parker's way.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
Tired of the 1-800 numbers advertising Medicare products? Flatlands Jessup has 6 offices all throughout Eastern North Carolina. You get face-to-face help from our local award-winning licensed team. Stop by today. Flatlands Jessup, your whole world covered.
Pirates play here.
Time to play the game.
This is Hoist the Colors with Steve and Igo on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. Hoist the Colors on a Friday, May 16th edition of the show. Steve and I go here. Bobby Harward hanging out, brought to you by Basil's today. Also got Philip Pilkington behind the glass and intern Chris as well. Diving back into the comments section, Kenny said he watched the Pirates win and then caught the Hurricanes W. That was a good night of TV. I agree. Fun sports night when your teams win. Go Nuggets. They force a Game 7. We'll get more into that as well. All right. Wanted to check in on some of the Pirates in the pros, primarily because our guy Alec Burleson is getting it going. Over the last 6 games, he's hit 3 home runs. He went 3 for 5 with a homer and 4 RBI in a win against Philly earlier this week, 14-7 win. The Cardinals all of a sudden have gotten red hot, and Alec Burleson a big reason why. And just glad to see him getting consistent ABs, Philip, because it's been like, for whatever reason, I know the Cardinals have been rolling recently, but like I still feel like he's one of their better players. So, like, give him at-bats, and this is what happens.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously, I wish, William was here because he watches, pretty much every Cardinals game. But it's kind of been that story over the last couple of years. You weren't sure. They had 4 outfielders. Really, when he got there, they had 5 because they still had drawing a blank on the dude's name, ended up going to the Red Sox. I'm drawing a blank. But anyways, they got down to 4, and, the whole point was to move him to first, but you still had Goldie there. Then when Goldie left, it was like, okay, great. This is Burley's opportunity to be an everyday starter. Well, now Contreras is, we've seen it with a lot of guys. Your knees start to crap out as a catcher. So now he's playing first. So, they're kind of in a spot where it's a good problem to have with too many outfielders. But you're right. When Burley's playing, and I know we're biased, but it seems like he has been one of the at least 2 most consistent guys when he's at the plate. Now, the tough thing is this. Out of the 4 outfielders, he's probably the slowest guy. And, unless you just want to play money ball, defense does matter. He's not extremely slow out there, but he is a converted first baseman and pitcher. He is not some burning outfielder. I don't know, man. It's frustrating to see him not playing every day, but like you said, they kind of got a first base figured out. Maybe Contreras will get old and retire after this year.
So right now, guys, I think the Pirates might have 3 former pitchers who are considered closers because Sean Armstrong, the last 2 outings for the Texas Rangers, has secured saves against the Rockies, and last night in a 1-0 win over Houston, he shut the door in the 9th for back-to-back saves. Obviously, you have Jeff Hoffman with the Toronto Blue Jays, who's having a solid year. I know he did blow a save recently and is not off to he doesn't have the best numbers. Still has 9 saves, 6.05 ERA. When you're a reliever, you have 1 bad outing, it can really bloat quickly. And then Zach Agnos, unfortunately, not too many save opportunities with the Rockies. But you've got 3 former ECU relievers currently that are probably considered, the highest leverage guys, which is pretty crazy to think about.
It is pretty wild. Jeff Hoffman hopefully will learn his lesson not to blow kisses to the Orioles because he hasn't been as sharp since that occurred, at least according to my feed in Orioles Twitter land. But anyways,
cool. Did he really blow kisses to him? I missed that.
Yeah, he blew a kiss after he closed a save against the Orioles because they were one of the teams that failed his physical and didn't sign him.
Tough.
Whatever. But he's a competitor.
Doesn't surprise me with Hoffman. That's just kind of who he is.
Yeah. Sean Armstrong, though, even though he cost me my Astros money line bet last night, am happy for him as well. The Rockies, just to put in perspective how bad the Rockies are, the record in the modern era for run differential is negative 349. The Rockies are on pace for negative 557. So that's over 200 runs than the
How can you even construct a team that bad?
It's crazy, but you know what? It's giving him an opportunity that maybe he wouldn't be getting on a better team, and he's taking advantage of his opportunity. So that's a cool thing is whether, obviously a young baseball guy, their contracts are like 5-6 years with the big league team, but he's showing himself well enough that he's going to get on some other teams' radars as well.
Jeff Hoffman, since blowing a kiss to the Orioles dugout, 11 appearances, 10 innings, 14 hits, 12 earned, 4 home runs, 18 Ks, 10.8 ERA. So it has been a tough run for Hoffman. I do think he will bounce back and be okay. A quick update on the Miami Marlins as well. They currently sit 16-26. Kind of what you expect. Clayton McCullough, first-year manager, obviously former Pirate. They were projected to be one of the worst teams in the league, young team. Connor Norby, second baseman for the third baseman now for the Marlins, former Pirate second baseman. He's hitting .256 with a .713 OPS. 2 home runs, 6 RBI, 4 stolen bases, and starting to get back into the groove after missing some time. He hit an absolute bomb at Wrigley the other day. I don't know if y'all saw that, but that ball was absolutely mashed. And then lastly, Gavin Williams for the Guardians, 3-2 on the season with a 4.29 ERA over 9 starts, and has consistently gone like 4 or 5 innings. The issue with Gavin has been pitch count. He just has a lot of deep at-bats.
And walks, right?
Yeah,
Hasn't he been walking a lot?
Yeah, 4, 5, 2, 2. So he has struggled with the walks, and that's kind of costing him. He's got good numbers, but it's costing him going deep in the games.
Yeah. Quite honestly, the only reason I know the walk issue is because one of the prop better guys that I follow had put him to do over 2 walks in his last outing, which he did not go over. So good for him, and hopefully he's getting back in the groove of things as well from a pitching standpoint.
All right, the Baltimore Orioles. We keep having this conversation, Bobby, and I keep saying, like, they just can't get buried. Well, they are – I mean, the dirt is starting to fall on them.
Yeah, they're getting buried. There's no energy, mojo, or anything right now. I know you saw my tweet on X complaining about it as well, but – yeah, they're just, dude, they don't look like a good baseball team. They're not hitting the baseball. I mean, they've gotten swept twice now by the Twins in the last week and a half, which is not good. I mean, this was supposed to be their easier stretch of the schedule, and they lose 2 of 3 to Kansas City, get swept by the Twins, win the series in L.A., and get swept by the Twins. They got the Nationals this weekend. Something's got to be done. Again, we've talked about it before. Elias is where the root of the issue lies, but Brandon Hyde is probably going to be the one that takes the fall. They made some very questionable at best hitting coach decisions this offseason, and they are struggling. I mean, right now it's actually looking good that they have not extended Adley Rutschman. He has been horrendous this season.
I was worried about that I remember the last half of last year, he fell off a cliff, and I was wondering what the deal was, and was that going to turn around, or was that just a tired second half thing? And yeah, baseball is weird. You know, sometimes it can take like a year or two to adjust to the league, adjusting to you. So I'm not like going to write him off yet, but it is, it's not looking great there. Is this a scenario where they could be looking at like a midseason firing just as a last gasp? Like you fire Brandon Hyde and then see it, because like the talent is clearly there to at least make a run, but I don't know, man. It's just you run out of time.
Yeah, I think so. I think honestly, this last series against the Twins, it felt like something needs to kind of happen. And you're right, because by the time you get to June, you kind of want to have a month of playing baseball as a last-ditch effort before the trade deadline, or at least by mid-June, I guess, since the trade deadline's been pushed back to August 1. But regardless, I mean, we're right now on pace to be sellers at the deadline, trading away Cedric Mullins, Ryan Mountcastle. I mean, it's just – and then don't even get me started on I'm just thought in my head of the Tyler O'Neill signing. Yeah. And – I mean, I think we gave him a player option. I hope it was a mutual option, but I think we gave him a player option. He's been horrendous. Of course he's going to opt in next year. It's just I'm going way down the rabbit hole right now of just frustration and disappointment.
The good news is they still have a lot of young talent, and it's not like I don't think even if they trade some of those older guys, I don't think it'll take that long to bounce back. If they get some pitching, obviously that would be key. Philip, speaking of the AL East, your Red Sox have lost 3 in a row. Look, the Mariners are coming back down to earth, as you would expect with their entire team on the injured list. That was not sustainable. All our teams are struggling. What about the Red Sox? Is it time to – like, their bullpen keeps blowing games, right? I keep seeing, like, just ungodly late-inning runs given up. Is that their issue right now?
Yeah, the bullpen's terrible. got to trade for Zach Agnos. The good thing is
maybe they can acquire Zach Agnos, Sean Armstrong, and Jeff Hoffman. And just
let's do it, man. You know, look, Colorado could use some outfielders. Boston's got some problems, and I'm not going to bore people with it, but they're a little heavy in the outfield right now. There's some weird stuff going on in the infield as well. And if you could offload a couple of these guys for some setup guys, you could be okay. Starting pitching has not been phenomenal, but starting pitching with the bats have kept you in a lot of baseball games. And, you know, I wouldn't mind another starter, to be honest. I would like to move Houck to the bullpen. I've never really thought he's a good starter. Started the other day, let up 11 runs. It was like watching NASCAR. The other team just kept going around and around and around and around. So, yeah, man, the pitching's bad right now. You're going to have to settle in, and usually pitching for teams gets worse as the season goes on. You know, guys get banged up, even if they're out there and they're healthy, their arms are getting tired, and here we are in, you know, early May or mid-May, and we're talking about bad pitching. It's not where you want to be. So, you know, it's been frustrating. They're only a couple games out of the wild card right now. You know, it's too early to be looking at the standings, but also you just don't want to get behind the 8 ball. I don't think they're behind it, but they're showing me nothing that will put them in front of it down the road if they don't get their act together.
Don't even get me started on bad pitching, Phillip. This is terrible. We'll trade you Charlie Morton and Kyle Gibson for Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
All right. We got plenty of it, baby. Boston runs on Dunkin'.
That's right.
Yeah, the only teams that have allowed more runs than the Orioles, you've got the Rockies.
I was going to say the Rockies.
You got the Marlins, the Nationals, and surprisingly the Athletics, but that's it. So pretty exclusive list.
But guess what? The Nationals on that, we can't score on the Nationals when we played them last. We get one hit by the Nationals.
And you get to
You're playing them
tonight.
again this weekend, right?
We play them again this weekend. Rivalry weekend in the MLB.
Nothing gets me going, baby, like the Vetter Cup between Seattle and San Diego in honor of Eddie Vedder. That is what they call it.
Really?
Yeah, because both fan bases try to claim Pearl Jam lead singer Eddie Vedder, and we call it the Vetter Cup.
Incredible.
Because it's the worst interleague rivalry in Major League Baseball, but so we just made it up as we go along. Some portal news. Jan Farrell has found a destination, Sacred Heart.
Okay, I really do not mean this as a shot at Jan. I'm not saying this but isn't Sacred Heart really hard to get into?
I know very little about Sacred Heart other than
aren't they in the Patriot League?
I would think so. I just don't know anything about Sacred Heart athletics.
And who knows? Maybe they're in the Northeast. Maybe they got different rules for. And I'm like I said, maybe
they're in the
Jan,
Northeast Conference.
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought they were in the Patriot League with Holy Cross and Army and all them. And I'm not saying Jan's dumb by any means. I have no idea what grades he makes. And I'm like, dang. But anyways, that whole comment ended up being. I sure as hell wasn't getting into no Sacred Heart. So, well, if they were as good as academically as good as I thought they were, but maybe they're not. Now that I find out they're not in the Patriot League, because the Patriot League is almost as hard to get into as the Ivy League. But maybe they're not. Maybe I was just wrong.
Sacred Heart is a private Roman Catholic university in. What state do you think Sacred Heart is located in?
Pennsylvania.
I think, yeah. Is it
Close.
Pennsylvania or New Jersey?
Fairfield, Connecticut. I would have said somewhere in.
Yeah, I was thinking either
Boston,
southeast PA or Jersey.
Yep, they have just 10,000 students between undergrad and postgrad. So Jan Farrell off to Sacred Heart. Congrats to him. Continues his collegiate career. So we will get a break in, although Johnny Robertson has one more stat for us. For the Braves fans, Ronald Acuna was 2 for 3 batting leadoff for the Stripers last night. So Acuna's on the way back for Atlanta. We'll get a break in. Carolina Hurricanes are moving on to the conference finals. We'll discuss that and more after these messages. This is Hoist the Colors on a Friday.
Hey, it's Jim Wells again with Wells Roofing and Gutters here in the beautiful community of Lindale, Bedford. At Wells Roofing and Gutters, we believe in quality first, and that's why we use CertainTeed shingles, which are manufactured in Oxford, North Carolina, a local company. In the event you ever do have a claim or a problem with your roof system, they're local and they come and take care of us in a timely manner. We could leave off some accessories and we could certainly save money, but we believe at Wells Roofing and Gutters in installing the correct way per manufacturer requirements, and we warranty your roof both in-house and also with our supplier, who is CertainTeed. For a job Wells done, no shortcuts taken, and a good quality job on your home, give us a call today, 252-227-8403. We also offer financing, 12 months, no interest, no payments.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Get ready to board.
We're live with Steve and Igo on 94.3 The Game. Now, back to Hoist the Colors.
All right, welcome back in. Hoist the Colors. Trying to... This music, yeah. The girl's growing on me, the AI girl, and I like this new comeback as well. So we were discussing the logistics of a potential Sunday night football trip off the air, which... we'll try and figure it out if we're going to Denver, Washington. I'm also looking at let me clarify this, then we'll get into the tickets discussion. So we did say that Sacred Heart was in the Northeast Conference. They were in the Northeast Conference last year. Now they are in the MAC, the Metro
Atlantic
something
Athletic
Conference.
Conference.
The MAAC, not the MAC, but the MAC.
I just call it the 2A MAC.
So the 2A MAC. So there's your clarification on that. The other thing we were talking about is ticket prices. Man, it's been a long time since I've tried to go to an NFL game. So I'm looking at going to potentially Cowboys Broncos in Denver. Upper deck, like behind the field goal post, is a minimum of $350. Like I just don't know if I want to pay that much to sit that far away.
Well, so here's the deal, Igo.
I know it's a Dallas thing.
Yeah, so it is a Dallas thing, and so my roommate, he's a Broncos fan. We got some friends who are Cowboy fans, including Parker, and they want to go to that game too. So the good news is, and I can't promise anything, is I do have cousins that are season ticket holders of Bronco games. So what I'm hoping is they can either, they're still going to charge you guys, but if they could, where you're not adding in all the fees. And Ticketmaster, building another mansion off of you guys, or if they at least have somebody that they know who also has season tickets, sits around and maybe they're looking to sell. So I'm trying my best to get you guys to at least avoid the fees.
How many tickets do your cousins have?
So they have a company that they own, and the company has 4, and then they have 4. So they've got 8 total. So I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm at least going to reach out when I get a head count of who all wants to go, because there's a so-and-so's wife may be going, so-and-so's wife might not be going, but I'm trying to get you
Sorry,
guys.
Erica, you're staying home.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get it where, well, these guys don't have kids. They just have dogs. So
yeah, well,
make the grandparents watch the dogs.
Yeah.
They're the grand dog.
The grand dog. Yeah, it's just we're looking at that or Bengals on Monday night, which that one is more like 150 to sit in that area versus 300 to sit middle upper. That is more tolerable at least, but it's just
I'm thinking 350. I want to be in the damn lower bowl.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Commanders, I was looking at Commanders Broncos. Like it's pretty stiff too, but like it's a lot more reasonable.
Well, it's still like 270, I think, is what I saw.
And
was
it's
the
a
cheapest.
night game, though.
Yeah, it is a night game, but
yeah,
I was expecting 180. That's kind of what I was thinking in the range. So when I pulled that up and saw 267, I think to be exact. I mean, and that's a dump of a stadium. Now, granted, I think I told you this. I haven't been to an NFL game since 2018. It was Philip. You may have actually been there. It was Panthers Saints. Sunday night or Monday, I think it was Monday Night Football.
Is this like the 42-10 loss or whatever?
It was the one when Christian McCaffrey threw a touchdown pass to Chris Manhertz.
Oh yeah, I was there.
Yeah, and so we literally like walked into our seats as that play was unfolding. But that was the last game I've been to, and that was so it's 7 years now.
Yeah, we got wrecked in that game. I think I met Captain Mutterland walking out of the stadium though.
There you go.
Captain Mutterland was a cool player. Great name. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, the last time I went to Denver was when they won the Super Bowl. They beat Aaron Rodgers on Sunday Night Football with Peyton Manning, which was incredible. I got free tickets to that game because of Josh Graham. Shout out JG. But I don't know, man. I want to go back, but it's just a lot of money. Anyways, we'll discuss this off air. The Carolina Hurricanes are heading to the conference finals. They beat the Washington Capitals 4-1 in the series. 3-1 last night was the final score of the game. And I got to be honest, I was hoping for a more compelling series as a nonpartisan fan. Bobby, as a Canes fan, you were probably happy that they just took care of business. So what do you make of this series? How high is your confidence going into a matchup with Florida or Toronto?
Yeah, that's. I'm actually shocked they won last night and finished it in 5. I was expecting it to go 6 and being able to close it out in Carolina, but
2 road wins in the same series.
That's huge for them and this team and getting that monkey off their back. Because looking ahead, it's Florida or Toronto. I'm thinking Florida because they've kind of have clicked into gear now, and honestly, I'd much rather be playing Toronto. Florida scares the crap out of me. We talked about it before the playoffs started. That Florida-Tampa series, one of those 2 teams in the East were the ones that scared me from Carolina's perspective. Now, we've made it to the Eastern Conference Finals 2 out of the last 3 years. This was supposed to be our rebuilding year, so I'm thrilled, but at the same time, we'll be crushed if we cannot get over the hump. Good thing is we have home ice advantage. But I'm going to butcher it. Barvov or Philip, what's the goalie's name for Florida?
Sergei Bobrovsky.
Bobrovsky.
Yeah.
But if he goes lights out again like he did to us last year or the year before, I mean, we're not going to have a chance. Granted, Freddie's been playing great, but still, they seem like a buzzsaw right now, Florida does.
So I'm not a hockey guy, but I just have said it feels like the Canes year from the standpoint of, for whatever reason, there's been less pressure on them, maybe because of what you talked about. And like after the whole Mikko thing didn't work out, it just seems like nobody has really expected them to make the run to the title. But they seem to be playing with a loose energy, and without that pressure, my only concern is, does that pressure start to like rebuild as they make it further into the playoffs? Because like everybody's like, well, they haven't made it to the Stanley Cup with this core of players.
I agree. I'm curious of that too. Now, I think I trust Rod Brindamore more than probably any other coach in the NHL, which, granted, I'm not the most in tune with all the NHL coaches, but I know players love playing for him, and he finds special ways to motivate them. I mean, he was a great player himself. The other thing I will say, if they can make it to this, I think there's like 3 teams in the Western Conference that are so much better. Well, now 2 because Vegas is out. But Edmonton and Dallas in particular would scare the crap out of me in the Stanley Cup Finals. And so I think those 2, I think the Western Conference, whoever representative wins the Stanley Cup. But back to your original question, yeah, it's going to be curious. That's kind of why I like playing in Toronto too, because if we play Toronto, they also have that Canadian hump that they're trying to get over. They're going to have pressure. Plus, technically, we would not have home ice advantage, so we would be the underdog. So hopefully that would take some of that tightness and pressure off of you.
Dude, I don't know. After how they looked in Game 5, I don't know if they stand a damn chance.
I don't think they do.
They looked like the
Yeah, they
4
got
of us going out
destroyed.
there trying to play hockey. I mean, that was terrible.
On home ice, too.
And that's the other reason I'm so glad that we closed the series last night, because I think this series ends tonight in Florida. I think the Panthers get it done. So that at least gives us a 1 day extra rest for our next game.
In the Western Conference, you have the Stars and Jets. They will play Game 6 in Dallas on Saturday. Dallas leads that series 3-2. And obviously the winner will face Edmonton in the conference finals. So I still expect Dallas to come out of this, but if Winnipeg could force a Game 7, that would be a pretty electric environment going back home. But it'll be tough to win on the road in Dallas.
Especially in that environment. That stadium's so small. It's so intimate. It's so hard to get tickets. I mean, it was an electric for Game 7 of the first round.
Do y'all think we get Game 7 in either of these series, Toronto, Florida, or Jet Stars?
I don't.
If we do, it's the Western Conference Series. I'm with you, Bobby. I don't think we do. But, Dallas got out to a 3-1 lead, but it was just kind of one of those things where it was like, the puck was going in the net their way. I think they were slightly better. Not trying to take anything away from them, but this Winnipeg team is a good team, and I thought throughout most of these playoffs, even the games they've lost a handful of games, obviously, because they went to 7 in the last round, so they've lost 6 games. For the most part, not every game, they've looked decently competent. Toronto, I mean, dude, they could be the Mighty Ducks from the beginning of the Mighty Ducks movie, or they could play like Stanley Cup champions. So, like I said, if it happens, it's the Western Conference Series, but Dallas is so good at home, man. Their only loss so far at home, I think, was Game 1 to Colorado. They might have lost one game early in this series to Winnipeg, but I'm pretty sure, it's off the top of the head, it's this Game 1 to Colorado. They're so tough in that arena. Jason Robertson's back now. Dallas is rolling, man.
With Toronto, they took a 2-0 lead, and weren't they up by like 2 goals against Florida in Florida?
Yeah, in Game 3.
And then blew that, and then they've kind of been, like you said, the original Mighty Ducks before that, yeah.
Yeah, Dallas has only lost Game 1 versus the Avalanche, and then they have won every game in their home arena since. All right, we will take a break. Speaking of Game 7s, we know we have one in the NBA coming up Sunday. Go Nuggets. We'll discuss that on the other side. Also look at what's going on with Phillips Celtics going into Game 6 tonight. This is Hoist the Colors on a Friday.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Your roof is a vital part of protecting your home and family from dangerous storms and hurricanes. At Assist Roofing, we install and maintain metal roofing that provides precise protection. Add value to your home while lowering utility costs with a fortified roof to last a lifetime. With 0% financing, grants, and Energy Star Green Roofing tax credit available. Call us to schedule a free consultation so you can weather any storm with confidence.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's cut in color. And let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
If you are interested in living longer and living stronger, Eastern Physical and Lifestyle Medicine is accepting new patients for a limited time. Finding a caring physician can be a challenge. Dr. Billy Smith is board certified in physical medicine and lifestyle medicine and has been practicing in the area for many years. Call for an appointment now to Eastern Physical and Lifestyle Medicine, 252-364-1108 in Greenville. That number again is 252-364-1108.
Looking for a great deal on a new Nissan?
At Greenville Nissan, we've got a great selection of new Nissans for under $30,000.
The stylish Nissan Sentra, offering top-notch fuel economy. The Nissan Altima, known for its comfort and technology.
The Nissan Kicks, the perfect combination with its compact design and performance. The Nissan Versa, delivering incredible value without compromising on features. And don't forget the Nissan Rogue, an award winner for 10 years in a row. Drive it home just for $22 down and $349 a month.
Visit GreenvilleNissan.com today.
Greenville Nissan, where we drive to serve.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227. Yo, ho, ho! And we're back to Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. Hoist the Colors, final segment here. We just talked NHL. Canes moving on. They'll take on the winner of Toronto, Florida, for the right to go to the Stanley Cup Finals. And we also have the PGA Championship going on as well, as that's on my live feed as I pull up ESPN. But NBA, man, I tell you what, it's been a pretty awesome playoffs because it's been wide open. Not only as a Denver Nuggets fan have I enjoyed it, because every Denver Nuggets series goes 7 games. They've played 16 series since 2018 in the playoffs. This is the 7th one that is going to a Game 7, which is just ridiculous. But, hey, they're entertaining. They beat OKC last night 119-107. And as invested as I will be on Sunday at 3:30 in Game 7, I do have to take a step back and remember, like, the Nuggets fired their coach with 3 games left in the regular season. Nobody really expected him to be here. So I think it's kind of been a successful run, although you still have Joker, who's probably the best player in the world. So I honestly expect them to win the game. That is a homer take, but this team has experience in Game 7s. All the pressure's on OKC as the top seed and a young team. I think it's going to be a great game. This whole series outside of Game 2 has been down to the wire. So, nonpartisan take, Bobby. Bobby Harvard in studio. Are you going to try to watch Game 7 is my first question.
I'll try to have it on for sure. And now, how attentive I can be in
mid-afternoon,
right? Yeah, because Daker's kind of dropping his nap now too, so we have 2 not napping. But regardless, this has been an awesome series. Kind of expected it to go to Game 7, and like you said, I forget that they fired their coach until they do sideline shots like last night, and they got SGA in foul trouble last night, which I think helps. So I think if you can get one of those guys, whether it's SGA or Chet, in foul trouble again Sunday, then I like the odds. But you're right. No pressure on Denver right now. Everything's on OKC.
This is OKC's defining moment. I mean, look, they've been a really good team the past 2 years. They lost in the second round last season. They're a 68-win team, 68-14 during the regular season. I mean, they need to win this game. Yes, they have a young core, but, like, eventually, like, you got to take that next step. So, I don't know, Philip, how you feeling about Game 7?
Yeah, man, it's so weird. You know, Denver, we've said it. Somebody else we were talking about the text chat last night or whenever it was, when days are running together, that when somebody other than Jokic and Murray steps up, they're a really good basketball team. So I know maybe this is more the Denver side of things. So I watch Denver more closely than I watch OKC, but it seems like OKC is a little more consistent. And we're going to get the OKC team that we think we're going to get, that we always get. And it's a matter of which Denver team shows up. Now, OKC is the better team, right? They're the 1 seed. So you would like to think, hey, if they play to the best of their ability, they're going to win the game just from a neutral standpoint. But, look, like you said, man, if Porter or Brown or Aaron Gordon or 2 of those 3 can really step up as well as getting good games from Murray and Jokic, you feel good about Denver. But if some of those guys don't step up, look, OKC's just not going to go out there and play bad. We know that. Chet and Shea, they're just not going to play bad. They might not play phenomenal, but they're going to do enough to win if Denver doesn't.
We don't have enough time to get into the SGA conversation, but I can't, unless you're an OKC fan, he plays just a like a foul merchant style of basketball. I can't stand it. Like his game is to try and get fouled. It's all based off that.
Here's my question
it's just annoying to watch.
About OKC.
Yeah.
You mentioned this. They've been like the best team the last few years, and if they didn't lose again, not making it to the conference finals this year, do they start to get antsy? They have the best management in the NBA, the best front office, but do they start to get antsy and try to make a go-for-it move this offseason?
We were having that conversation with Brady Thomas and James Giglio because they have such a good young core. You know, would you be tempted to trade? They have a ton of picks too, but it's like, could you go get Giannis? He doesn't really fit on paper, but if you trade, let's say, Chet and a first rounder for Giannis, you know, is that the right move? I don't know, but like you could panic move or try to feel pressure to make a move. I think, if they lose Game 7.
Is Brady a Thunder fan?
He follows him, but he's not.
Okay.
He's because a Kentucky basketball fan and he's from that area. He follows him, but he's not a diehard. All right, 1 minute left. Celtics Knicks Game 6 tonight. Look, the Celtics look really good. In Game 5, Philip said it wouldn't be over despite the injury. Do you think they win tonight to force a Game 7?
I do not. I don't think it even comes down really much to the Tatum injury. I just don't think Boston's playing their best basketball right now. Not consistently enough. And, you know, the Knicks, I'm not going to say possession in, possession out. They've been great. But they've been good enough. They haven't done anything to really cost themselves games. I feel like Boston has. They're not just playing well at all. Again, even with Tatum, I don't know how I'd feel about this game. I will say I think if Boston gets it done tonight and they learn to play their brand of basketball, I think we're talking about a sweep or a gentleman's sweep not in their favor in the finals. I think even without Tatum, they're a better team than the Pacers. They are the deepest team in the East. And not that I think they're a finals caliber team without Tatum, but I think the East is so weak that if they can get their you-know-what together, there's no reason that they aren't probably getting slaughtered by one of the 3 teams left in the West in the finals. But you got to win tonight. Like I said, I think if they win tonight, they make the finals, but I don't think they will win tonight.
All right, we got to get out of here. You guys still lost in your Celtics talk. I think we got to hit our
break.
outro.
Yeah. Well,
all right, we're out of time.
Just talk up to 56:50 then.
All right, we'll just do that. Bobby, appreciate you, my man.
Yeah.
And we are brought to you again today by Basil's, so make sure to check them out. AMC Movie Theater in downtown, or not downtown Greenville. That would be Sub Dogs, which also supports the show. But AMC Movie Theater over on Fire Tower Road, Basil's, is where you can find some good lunch and dinner. All right, everybody have a great weekend. Philip, good luck to your Celtics. Let's go Nuggets as well, and we'll see how the Pirates finish up. We'll be back Monday to wrap it all up. We'll see you then.